taking off like a Boeing. If the volume spikes, then it's time to trade. Mighty 90 setting up, it's time to get paid. Dr. Chad on the mic, time to get focused. We don't need any indicator, hocus pocus. It's all about the price, just watch it move. Manage your risks so you don't lose. First hour of trading is all we need. Focus on the patience and forget about greed.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's day trading live stream for Friday, June 6th. Big gap up after NFP employment data. S&P up 55, NASDAQ futures up 204, Russell up 33, Dow up 384. Russell the strongest, up over 1.5%. The other three are all just under 1% higher. Gold is flat, silver's up 1.5%, notes and bonds are red, 10-year yield popping up 1.64. Oil's up 0.5%, natural gas is up almost 1. Soybeans a little bit green, wheat a little bit red. Soybeans a little bit red, wheat a little bit green, corn a little bit red. Euro and the pound are both down about 0.5%. Bitcoin up over 2%, just over 104,000. And the VIX, big contraction, down over 7%, currently at 17.14. Had, of course, the late day sell-off yesterday, which kind of juiced premiums a little bit. Expected move in SPX, a little over 31 points today, compared to the start of yesterday was about 29. So yeah, a little bit, but with this big contraction pre-market, help suppress that a little bit. Unfortunately, and I still may consider a discretionary 1 DTE or 3 DTE using the Monday options because the decay is usually so good. But with this much premium coming out of the markets pre-market, probably won't, but we'll see. Might consider a discretionary one. I will be doing a 6-7 put calendar at the open. Hopefully there's some juice left in those. Typically I see if you get a little bit of a IV increase going into the open and then it contracts throughout the day is when those typically perform the best, but I'll put my opening one on and then we'll see how it goes and decide if I want to add or not. Got a little over a minute till the bell. Going to open really close to pre-market highs. CoreWeave is up 7% pre-market. Tesla, a little bit of a rebound. It's down 17 yesterday, but up 5 this morning. SMCI's up 3, Hood's up 3, Coin's up 2.5, MSTR's up 2. Lululemon had earnings. It's down almost 18% pre-market. AVGO also had earnings. It's down over 3. There's the bell. All right, so SPX 31.9. The expected move, getting that marked on my charts. $31.9. NDX, the NASDAQ expected move for the day is about 175 compared to 120 yesterday. All right, launching my 6-7. Is there a strategy portfolio-wise when it comes to the put calendar? I've noticed it's not a big needle mover. I'm not sure I'm clear on your question, Jonathan. All right, just posted my 6-7. I got filled on the 6,000 strike. Maybe 6,000 will act like a magnet today. It's had a tough time pushing through. Oh, got it. I'm on it, Ken. Thank you. Fridays are much different than other days when it comes to that 6-7 as far as kind of profit potential. I mean, I've made over 50% profit on those on a Friday, same day. I've really just kind of gotten to the point where, like, if you do them on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, I definitely don't do them on Thursdays. Then the profits, are a little bit, can be more minimal based on the risk you're taking. But Fridays, I don't agree with that statement on Fridays for sure. And so what I'll do with this one is, a lot of times if I see some decent profits coming in early, like within the first hour, then I will potentially add, because what I see happen a lot of times is if the profits come early, they tend to keep coming. Yeah, I was talking about my 6-7 put calendar, Bosch. All right, day trades. So on the individual stock front, same as pre-market. CoreWeave is the leader, up 8%. Tesla's up 4.5%. Coin up 3.5%. All right, starting our second 5-minute bar here. I've got the futures on my screen that you can see. I've got another board with basically the Mag 7 plus Netflix. I've got one with the chip stocks, and I've got one with financials, which includes the three major the big banks, along with the cryptos, Robinhood, Lulu was actually down over 20. It made a little bit of a bounce pre-market. Apparently the yoga pants don't like the tariffs. MU making a big push. It's up over 3% now. Etsy. Haven't heard that one in a while. Wow, sure has. Last time I tried to trade that, options aren't great. Yeah. Yeah, so I wouldn't trade it with options, but yeah, that is quite a tear. Little choppy to start. At CoreWeave had a big reversal yesterday, but popping back up again today. Already got back over half of its losses from yesterday. Yeah, so the 6-7 put calendar is already up 6%. So that might be something where I'm going to add some more onto that one. Yeah, MU looks like it's going at, yeah, it'll definitely get a volume bar. Got about a minute and a half. I think that's the only one. Yeah, that's the only one I see. S&P, NASDAQ moving higher. MU, just looking at it on a daily chart, it's been on quite a little rip here since the beginning of March. Kind of getting to the top of this little consolidation area here. All-time high is way up at 157 and change. Just for a little longer term context. All right, so yeah, MU is the only volume bar. Bitcoin breaking out of its pre-market high. MU didn't really dip much yet. Apple sitting on yesterday's highs. got back everything it lost yesterday and more. All right, so MU's pulling back. MU 7 DTE. I'll trade the 112 calls. $112 calls trying to get filled. Filled at 204. S&P and NASDAQ are not pulling back. MU is now dipping below that big volume bar. I don't want to give it all the way down to yesterday's high, but could easily see it dip and rip from there, but I'm not going to give it that much room. TSM still going up. PLTR pushing. NVIDIA had a little weakness the first 5 minutes. Now it's pushing back up. Meta looking strong. I don't like how MU is not pushing. SMH, the semiconductor ETF, is pushing. Some of the others are acting a little stronger. AVGO trying to rebound after some downside after earnings. NVIDIA through highs. NVIDIA looks strong. Meta might be getting a little bit of a mighty 90 short here. Same with NVIDIA. MU just sitting.
Order filled.
All right, MU, you got your little pause.
Order filled.
Give a little pause and rip. S&P and NASDAQ are still going. TSM and NVIDIA are still going. Let's rotate some of that chip love into MU. AMD's just kind of pulling back. SMH staying strong. SMCI is just kind of choppy. The big banks are acting strong. Bank of America, Goldman, JP Morgan. Hood acting strong. I finally shed half my Hood calls yesterday, which ended up being good because it dropped with everything else at the end of the day. But still holding half. MU just sitting there. No dip and rip. No follow through yet. Which I'm afraid if this market pulls back, it's going to drop some. MSTR's coming down. Coinbase coming down. Bitcoin, a little pullback. Apple still kind of chopping around yesterday's high. Amazon holding above. Microsoft pushing up to highs of day. Meta a little pause at the highs. MU just holding. Pretty close to where I got in. Amazon pushing. Come on, Moo Moo. Move, Moo. Russell acting a little choppier. Still up the most of the four, but since the open it's acting weaker. NVIDIA and Meta both had those little volume spikes, kind of mighty 90 volume spikes, and they just paused. No real reversal there, so that tells me there's some strength here. Microsoft, nice push. Tesla's coming down. Still chopping within its first 5-minute range. All right, S&P pull back to yesterday's high. NASDAQ pull back. Russell coming down towards lows. Microsoft is not a mighty 90 now. That's just kind of yeah, that volume bar is a little bit higher than the last, but that doesn't mean it's a mighty 90. On a volume spike. Even the separation on Meta, that's not, that's a mighty 90. Not, you want to see, I like to see a little bit more of a spike, but that's okay. Nvidia and Meta, they would qualify. Microsoft, definitely not. MU still chopping, still holding above that bar that gave the big volume, but I really like to see these volume runners just kind of pause and then rip, not chop around for 20 minutes. Bosch, does that make sense on the Microsoft? Cool. AVGO pushing up to pre-market highs. Still down 2% after the earnings gap down. I don't know why my ES chart is showing previous day high is basically the pre-market high of yesterday. The intraday high was lower. The other ones are correct, but ES is wrong for some reason. Yeah, SMH is staying strong, but MU, no follow through. Google pushing through highs, Microsoft still pushing. All right, I've got my order ready to close MU if it doesn't bounce here. Need a bounce or it's getting cut. SMCI is coming down. Tesla coming down. Nvidia rolled over. Just the 6-7 Dark Avenger that I posted. Now SMH is rolling over. All right, I'm going to cut. I'm cutting MU. Filled at $1.69. Like I said, it may come down to yesterday's high or pre-market highs down here. Oops, let me move this over. It may come, so the 109.3, that's yesterday's high. Could also see it coming down and tapping the top of the pre-market highs and then still going, but I'm not going to give it that much room. Well, you didn't miss anything, Joe Rod. That was a losing trade. That was an upside volume runner in MU. Yeah, I was just closing it. Yep. Seeing a little bit of these dips getting bought up in chips. TSM's been acting the strongest. I like this dip getting bought up in TSM. If this current bar closes strong in TSM, like, you know, right where it is or above, I'm gonna take an upside runner in TSM, and I'll just use the bottom of that candle as my line, as my level. Got about a minute. If it takes off without me, I'll miss it, but TSM, I would be trading the 207 half calls. All right, 207 half calls in TSM. Filled at $2.44. It's just acting the strongest of the chips, and then it made that little dip, got bought up really quick. Let's see if we get any continuation here. Same thing, SMH got its little dip bought up. A lot of these chips getting bought up. Look at MU. We got out, but back up to highs. Wouldn't you know it? Tesla had a little kind of mighty 90-ish as it flushed through pre-market lows. That volume spike in Tesla, just for context, kind of what Abosh was talking about. So it's a little bit of a separation between that one and the previous bar. It's still not bigger than the second volume bar, though, so it's still, you know, just kind of okay. Amazon holding above yesterday's high. Google is still pushing. Microsoft still staying strong. Banks, a little bit of a pullback, acting like they're trying to bounce a little bit. Indices just kind of chopping near highs. If anybody stayed in MU, it's looking pretty good now. Lulu coming down almost 20%. We need some continuation power out of these chips. Robinhood coming down some. MSTR has been all down. Coinbase strong initially, now it's back down to lows. MSTR trying to bounce off the bottom. S&P and NASDAQ and Russell dipping a little bit. Bitcoin trying to get bought up. You guys can't hear me? Still no sound? Chad, can you hear me? So Chad can hear me, but nobody else. So yeah, sometimes check your audio settings in Discord. For whatever reason, sometimes they change. They've done that to me before. Go to your settings and then go to voice and video. Make sure your input and output devices. So TSM just chopping. MU through highs of day. Tesla, nice bounce off the lows. Yeah, that's unfortunate with MU. Just one of those that squeezed us out. So I'll play these volume runners when there's a key level like that a couple different ways. Kind of the main way with a volume runner is price comes below that bar that gave you the big volume, then that's your line in the sand. That's your exit point. The other way that I play these sometimes is I would go in with a smaller size where I did, and then add if it comes down to that key level. So, that obviously would have worked here in hindsight. I got in with full size, looking for just kind of a pause and continuation, but just FYI for this kind of trade. TSM is also pushing through highs of day, which is good. I've got an order at 270 to close some of my TSM. So another little push. All right, SMH back up close to highs of day. All right, I'm going to try to end this live stream and then come back on.
Order cancelled. Order filled. Order partially filled. Order filled.
Okay, how about now? Give me a thumbs up or a yes in the Lando can hear. Good, good. Okay. Huh, that's weird. Sorry, guys. Not sure what the deal is with that. All right, so TSM started to push through highs, a little bit of a pullback. S&P and NASDAQ just kind of chopping. Bitcoin trying to bounce back up above pre-market highs. TSM coming down a little bit. So my line in the sand with TSM is is below that bar that I entered on, so that 855 central bar. Not much continuation on that first try. SMH is kind of pulling back as well. All the chips pulling back. NVIDIA pulling back. Apple made an initial push. It's been all just kind of pull back from there. Similar with Meta. Microsoft's now pulling back. Google still staying strong. Amazon couldn't hold above yesterday's high. Wow, that 6.7 is up 14% already. All right, dip's getting bought up a little bit here in the chips. Let's get some pushes. Some real pushes. SMCI, nice bounce. MU is dipping. SMCI is still bouncing. TSM, AMD getting bought up a little bit. S&P and NASDAQ's little dips getting bought up. Need a little push through yesterday's high in TSM to hit my first profit target. PLTR starting to bounce a little bit. Lulu still no chill. Google is up 3% now. That thing is not caring at all what anybody else is doing. The banks have really been pulling back for the last 30 minutes or so. MU trying to pop back up to highs of day. TSM just chopping. Well, my friends, don't see anything else I'm going to get into. Pretty choppy price action here. I'm going to continue to hold TSM. I will update any exits. Yeah, I was thinking about the 1 DTE, Chad. I mean, just looking at my 6-7, it's already up 16%. Which essentially is showing the amount of decay that's happened. VIX is going up, so I'm not sure if that's, I mean, these are 6 and 7 day options, so it's not the same as the 3 day options, but I don't know how much has already kind of come out of that. Did you happen to model one? Bosch, you're up 22% on yours from the open. Yeah, so that's a lot of decay that's already come out. So I don't know. I think I'm going to pass on the 3 DTE, but well, after we had the first, after like the first 5 or 10 minutes, I thought about it, but then I was just like, man, we've just had such an overnight contraction. I felt like the premium may have already been sucked out, but looks like there is more to suck out. Yeah, I'm going to hold off. All right, all. I'm going to wrap the stream here. Like I said, I'll post on TSM my exits. My first profit target is at, what did I say? 270. It's currently trading around 250. A little pop through yesterday's high would hit that. And then I'll try to, if it's moving, I'll try to hold. If it just kind of is going to chop around, I may bail early. Indices still kind of pulling back. Bitcoin trying to get back up to highs of day. But otherwise, if there is anything else I see today that I think is a good choice, I will post in the Day Trades channel. Otherwise, I will be here for Power Hour later today at the end of the day. Everybody have a good one. We'll talk to you soon.